Hey guys, Tim here with Free Range Munchkins. Just doing some farm work, farm chores today. And as I was doing it, you let your mind wander. Sorry, I haven't talked in like 2 hours because I've been out here by myself letting my mind wander. So my voice isn't there. Um, Starting to think about synergy and how important synergy is to a successful homestead farm. So I was encountered by about 5 or 6 projects that just were working really well together, and I want to share them real quick, where we took maybe a nasty, dirty problem and turned it into another problem solution. All right, we had a telephone pole fixed or replaced by the electric company this summer, and they left the old pole in our pasture, took off and left this huge pole. It was a nuisance. But I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to build an addition with a barn, on the barn with it later. We don't have the resources to do it right now, so I cut it into the proper pieces, and while it's sitting here, it's going to be a play feature for the goats. All right, so that's one form. So we just took a nuisance and we turned it into something that's functional until I can turn it into what I intend to do with it later. So 2 purposes. Temporary, and then there'll be a permanent solution. As you can see, our pasture is pretty bare right now. They've eaten everything down. We don't really have good winter graze. So a solution is we bought hay from a farmer that had really good winter graze, and we put that hay in a hay feeder out in the middle of our field, and we just move it around, and what happens is the goats tear through it, and as they're eating it, they're spreading the seed all around the hay feeder, and oh, by the way, as they're standing there, they're also fertilizing it. So we just move the hay feeder around every so often, and you've got great seed and great fertilizer that's being put down with little to no effort on our part. We just changed the location of our hay feeder, which we have to have a hay feeder anyways. Now they leave all this great, I don't know if you can see it, mess behind them, which is hay that they've dropped and stepped on, and they are pretty picky, our goats are. They're not going to eat it again, and we don't want them to either, because there's bacteria from their fecal matter that they shouldn't be re-ingesting. Worms and that kind of thing could be an issue. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to turn it into bedding, all right, because it's good hay. It's not dirty, it's not rotting, it's not nasty, it's not smelly, it smells pretty fresh. It's just been on the ground. So we're going to turn it into bedding instead of putting it in our compost pile, which we could do with the compost pile, but I'd rather wait till this turns wet and gets compressed, denser, so that it works better in our compost pile. All right, so here's our turn-in shelter, as I was previously saying, that we use so that the goats can run in when it starts to rain. They really hate being in the rain, so they're going to either sit at the gate screaming at us, telling us to let us in the barn, or they're just going to tear apart the barn that we freshly cleaned for morning chores. We don't want to do that, so we give them a turn-in shelter so that they can temporarily sit in until the rain stops and then go back out and be goats. All right, the problem is when you have baby goats, little kids running around, they tend to get trampled in a small confined space like this when everybody's crowding in to get away from the terrible raindrops. So what we did was we took this extra dog house that we had and turned it into a baby goat house. All right, so I took that previous hay that I just scooped up off of the field that they had spilled and stuck it in here for bedding, so they've got a nice warm dry bed inside the dog house. And oh, by the way, if you zoom out here a little bit and see, I've got a compost pile. In this compost pile, I can literally feel the heat from here radiating off of it. Now, not too big of a deal today because, as you can see, I'm in short sleeves. It's nice and warm, probably about 75 degrees, but we're not out of winter yet here in Alabama, so there's a good chance that we're going to get some cold weather. Now, baby goats, cold weather, just makes sense to snuggle their house into the warmest thing on the property, the big heat box compost. So synergy relationship between those two. All right, if you notice that hay feeder was not store-bought, I made it out of pallet wood that we got for free, and my workshop that I use to make all kinds of stuff that we use around the farm that produces all this right here, the sawdust. So what do we do with the sawdust? Well, we can either throw it away, try to burn it, or what we're going to do is we're going to turn it into a peat moss substitute for our raised grow beds. So we don't have to buy peat moss, and we've got a good organic matter that's going to provide really good drainage. All right, the last thing I wanted to show you, aside from the obvious compost manure pile that gets used for the garden, not going to go into that, but I do want to show a quick little visual here of my oldest son's homeschool project. We wanted to allow him to start a business so that twofold, he can start saving for college and teach him responsibility, and part of his homeschool curriculum, learning to start a business. So all three of those things, he decided to raise pigs. Now these pigs are awesome. They're coon-coons, and we got a guinea hog and a coon-coon. Their piglets will go anywhere from $250 to $500, depending on whether we get some better bloodlines or not, as he grows his business. So great opportunity for him. We're going to eat some of the bacon. He's going to sell some pigs, make some money, and in the meantime, they are rotor-tilling our garden. Amazing. Don't know if you knew this or not, but pigs like to root, especially if there's not enough graze for them. Coon-coons don't root as much as other types of hogs. The heritage are good like that, but if there's not enough graze, then they're going to go down on the ground and tear it up. So that works perfect, because we knew that, and we put them exactly where we're going to have our corn crop next year. So right now they're going to be fertilizing it for us, and they're tilling it up and getting all the soil aerated. So it's great, and then they love being out here. And all we had to do was put a little hot wire around the perimeter of what will soon be the garden. All right, so that's it for now. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and post your comments. We've got more videos coming. I promise I'm not going to let Mrs. Free Range have all the fun. I've got a video coming out that I'm really excited about, and hopefully we'll be posting that in the next day or two. But yeah, have a great day. Talk to you later, guys.